Hey, welcome yet again to SOE Transparent Talk Show. And I am so excited with the girls that we have today. Are you excited? Yes, I am so happy to talk about these topics today. Listen, we have some loaded conversations. So you make sure you stay tuned for the juicy hot topics that we're about to have today. But before we start, I definitely want to introduce myself. I am JOHNÁE Wright, and I am here. We're hosting together for the Transparent Talk Show, along with the other hosts we have,
TIANA.
and we also have.
I'm Nishawn. Hello.
And as you can see, we have a new guest. So, Nishawn, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. So I'm Nishawn. I am a woman of a particular age, and I am just so excited to be here and exchange thoughts and ideas with these beautiful ladies.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad to see your lovely face with us today. It's always a breath of fresh air to see a new face, someone that can also add to the conversation, add something different, add some color. I think that's a beautiful thing. So we thank you, and we're so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and jump in with these juicy topics. But before we start, I would like to talk about this magazine that we have. It's the spring edition, right? And the magazine is looking really good. Did you guys get to take a look at it? Just a little sneak peek?
No, I didn't actually get to see it yet.
You got to see it?
I only got to see my pictures, and I was very pleased with them.
Yes. Jerry did his thing.
Yes,
Shout out to Jerry Washington, JWASHProductions. Yes, it came out really good.
Yeah.
How do you like the pictures?
Amazing.
Are you a photogenic person? Do you like to take pictures?
I have a love-hate relationship with the camera sometimes. I feel like, I take pictures and they look all right, but when other people take pictures of me, it's like, I don't know what y'all see.
Yes.
But I do enjoy taking pictures.
That's really good. And I got a chance to look at the pictures, and I was able to receive the pictures, see the pictures, and I was in love, and me and Jerry, we did some work. We put our minds together, we got creative, and they came out beautiful. And when I was able to see every section of our sessions being used, it was in the magazine. I was like, oh, like we really got to utilize all the photos that we was able to use, and they were in the magazine. And when I looked at it, it was just so creative. And I took my time with the articles that I put in, because I've talked to some juicy topics. Just a little sneak peek. I tell you that one of them is from one of the. I'm also a songwriter. So I wrote a song called Sounds, and the song is about, we make up, we break up, let's just let it be what it be, and let's just be us. And he was able to put the QR code to the song and everything, and he put the pictures of the piano by that, and I thought that was beautiful. And then the next one was about the girls. The girls is about us, and without saying trans this and trans that, black woman this and black trans, I just said the girls. And we're talking about how we are working in the workplace. How is it hard for us to get employment? The things that we have to deal with men. And all those things of that sort, and how do we overcome those things? How have we evolved as a whole? And then the last one was, I can't remember the last name of the last thing, but basically, it was he changed he gave like a subtitle to it called "Pretty in Pink." I cannot think of the name for my myself, but basically this what I was commentating about was, how did it feel to be a post-op trans woman? And I did not utilize trans at all, but I just told my story of how it felt to be a woman that undergo a certain surgery. And I was able to talk about my feelings, the things that I have endured, being in a relationship, waiting for someone to accept me after disclosing, that moment, because now I can get all the way to the bedroom without having to disclose. I have that privilege now. And finding a way to safely disclose my identity. And then after that, what I realized is that you can get all the way close. As trans women, we can go all the way to the end. We can all the surgeries that it is for us. And there is still one thing that we are unable to do at the moment, and that is to give birth. And I found myself in a vulnerable position where I was dealing with infertility stress. And trans women can go through infertility stress.
Right.
Because before, when I was pre-op, I knew that I couldn't have kids. I knew that I couldn't have a baby. I knew I couldn't get pregnant. It's something that I just knew. But now that I undergo sexual reassignment surgery, and now that I have a vagina, and now that I'm having, sex with a man, it messes with your psyche. And because he's expecting something, and I know subconsciously this can never happen with, the technology that we have so far, this can't happen. And I found myself having some type of infertility depression. And I literally have been bawling about this because it's just like it started to bother me. And I made a couple of phone calls to a good friend, Hope Giselle, and she's also a post-op trans woman that's also in a relationship. And she said, "Girl, I went through the same thing, and this is something that we go through, and you're not alone." And once I realized that I'm not alone, that not only that Black trans women, any color, go through this, but this I'm able to relate with cisgender women that are infertile,
Right.
that have endometriosis, that have fibroids, that have blocking the fallopian tubes, that have hysterectomies for whatever reason, and I'm able to really kind of sympathize in a way that these issues are not secluded to cisgender women. These issues are surrounded by all women because guess what? We share a space in womanhood, we share a space in femalehood, and not all our bodies are the same, but we do have similar situations that we do experience the same. So I definitely wrote about that, and I talked about that. Motherhood is not reduced to your genitalia or your female anatomy or organs, but it's how you show up in a child's place. Because if we adopt, if we do surrogacy, if we take in a niece or nephew, that's still a form of nurturing, mothering, how to teach, how to be patient. All those things is a part of motherhood. And it really reassured me, and it really gave me peace, and it really gave me confidence. And a lot of women need to hear that, whether they're trans, post-op, pre-op, or cisgender women that are infertile. They need to hear that story. So I was able to be vulnerable and share that, and I thought it was a beautiful thing. So I would like to talk about how you elaborate about the things that you put in uh, the magazine, because I found that your article was very, very interesting. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. Well, my article was about, it's about me. Of course, I'm a Black transgender woman, but I'm also asexual. And I have never met another asexual Black trans woman. But I think we all have moments of asexuality where you just don't feel like being bothered. Maybe you're just not attracted to anyone. I'm what you might call demisexual, where I can experience sexual attraction, but it is 9.9 times out of 10 tethered to an emotional connection. So, where most people are able to experience a primary attraction by looking at a person and being like, oh, I could, do the things. Yeah, I rarely have that type of attraction. I have to be with you. I have to spend time with you. I have to feel safe and secure. There has to be like that good exchange of energy before, you get my motor running. So,
And what is asexual for the people that don't know what asexual is?
Asexuality is typically, just the broad definition is when you lack sexual attraction to either gender. So, I am just on that spectrum. I am demisexual, so there are instances where I do experience sexual attraction, but sex is like not even in my top 10 of list of priorities. It's like, if I could find another like asexual partner and we just, loved each other and nurtured each other and, we had a deep emotional connection, that would be a perfect relationship for me. So in relationships, I negotiate sex. We, basically my partner will, ask, how I'm feeling, how I'm doing. I know sometimes because, a person with I don't want to say a normal sex drive, but I'll say a typical sex drive may require it more than more than my body is willing to like do on its own. But I can get through it. But yeah, I didn't know for most of my life that I was asexual, and kind of coming upon that information and understanding some of my previous behaviors and why I never really felt connected to sex, it really explained a lot about who I was, and it also helped me to navigate my relationships and connections, present and going forward. So
that's amazing. And Tiana, seemed like you kind of agreed with some of the things that you were saying. Do you feel the same way?
I definitely feel the same way because I just, like she said, it's not on my list. Like as I got as I got older, and then having to raise children, like home and bills and other stuff. Like I'm thinking about future. I'm not thinking about the next nut. Like if we're gonna keep it real, I'm not thinking about that. I mean, if it come up, it come up. We do it, whatever. But that's just not on the spectrum. And I feel like these days, dudes push it on you instead of letting it be like natural, let it happen. They push it on you. Like I just had an incident in my home, maybe like 3 weeks ago. I was in a relationship with this guy from church, whatever. And everything was going good. We talked for months over the phone, And people that know me know that I don't smoke or drink or anything like that. But because we work together, I compromised. And it was his birthday weekend. And, I allowed a kickback or whatever, to go on in my home. And so my spirit kept telling me to tell him to go home with his sister, like, go home. But because I wanted to be that partner to compromise, I was like, okay, I'll let him, stay, whatever the case may be. After everybody left, I'm cleaning up my home. I go to take a shower or whatever. He's like, oh, I'm gonna wait on you. I'm like, no, you go to bed. At this point, it's like 3 something in the morning. And I'm like, no, you can go to bed. I'm gonna relax. Like it's been a long day. I just want to, just clear my head. I come out and he's fully naked laying in the bed. Now, I don't even be fully naked in my own home, and I'm by myself, and I just don't. So I sit on the end of the bed, turned on the TV. I'm like, I'm about to watch it in the heat of the night, give me a little snack, lay down. But what you're doing over there, that has nothing to do with me. So I lay down and he gets behind me. At first, it's like cuddling. So I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking too much of it or whatever. My spirit keep telling me was like, why didn't you tell him to go home? So maybe like 10 minutes in or whatever, he like, okay, so what's up? Like, we're not gonna, do it. I said, no, we're not. I'm tired. Like that was my word. I'm tired. And so in some way, I'm not gonna say some way. he did try to force himself on me. And so at that moment, I knew that it was done for me. And I knew at that moment that it wasn't, yeah, I was attracted to him, but the emotional connection had left once you tried to force yourself. You didn't let it be natural. If a woman is saying that they're tired and it's something that they don't want to do, leave it there. Don't push yourself or whatever, because we could have got some rest and we could have got it the next morning and did it. But the fact that you tried to push yourself on me was a done deal for me. And so, yeah, it definitely turned me off. And so I think that it's forced these days. Like, men feel that you are obligated to give them sex and you're not obligated to give them sex. Yeah, so that's just what it is for me. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. It's just not on my list or whatever. If I'm not emotionally attached to you, it's not something that I'm like really craving to do. I may be attracted to you from afar. Oh, you cute, but that does not mean that I want what's in your pants. So yeah.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate, and as Black trans women, a lot of times we are highly sexualized. So people just expect us to be these sexual beings and just to be available to them sexually. And it's almost as if we aren't allowed to have that type of boundary. So, you know, good for you for standing your ground, not giving in, and setting that boundary with that person. And hopefully he's better to the next person, but good for you for not just acquiescing somebody, because a lot of times we're just expected to be a vessel, and our feelings are disregarded.
Yeah, that's definitely crazy, and I've been in those situations too, and it's not pretty. But speaking of sex and sexuality, child, we got Lil Uzi Vert, child, exploring his sexuality, and we got NLE Chopper says that why is it when men express themselves happily they're called gay? So let's go ahead and jump in on the Lil Uzi Vert thing now. We've been seeing child Lil Uzi Vert out here in these streets, being very feminine and stuff. And he's definitely, I would say, he's definitely breaking the barrier with these Black rappers that are in the industry, pushing the envelope with their sexuality, exploring their femininity, being loud and out in front with it and not ashamed. So I will commend him on that. I've been hearing speculation that he is identified as non-binary, and he don't really. He never gave a proper pronoun, I don't believe, but typically they would use they or them, but they can use they, him, them, he. He never said he wanted to be called she or anything of that nature. So we could go them, he, or whatever. So but I think personally, um, hey, do what you want to do. Do what you feel like you like to express yourself. Um, I do find that a lot of Black men use a lot of colorful words without saying, "Hey, I'm gay." They may say that they're this sexuality, they're this, they identify as this as safe words, so they won't have to come out as gay. It's a stigma around Black men being gay. So yes, I'm gonna wear the purses. Yeah, I'm gonna wear the black fingernail polish on my pinkies and my thumbs. Yes, I'm gonna walk around with skirts and heels and blush and lip gloss. But I'm not gay. I'm non-binary, or I'm sapiosexual, or yes, I'm gonna wear the dangly earrings with a cross on it, but I'm gonna wear nose ring and belly ring. But I ain't gay. So I just feel
this is new to me. The pinky and the thumb.
Yeah, yeah, they do that, and I just find out with our community of Black men that these other colorful words are safe words. so that they wouldn't be categorized in a way. And that's another way of protecting their career, their manhood, their status, their access to certain type of women. So I do find that black men in the industry can express themselves in a feminine way without saying I am gay and still be accepted by us.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we even believe him, them, when they are saying that they are gender nonconforming? I read something where Uzi said that, and I want to be respectful in case, because I'm speculating. They said that they changed their pronouns on social media because they felt that there are a lot of struggles going on within the LGBTQIA plus community that they identify with. That could somewhat be taken as a declaration, but this is also a person who implanted a diamond in his forehead, and a person who hailed himself as a devil worshiper initially, and alluded in his lyrics that he got JT to worship Satan or something. So, is it real, or is it just more shock, more fodder?
I don't know this person, so I can't say too much. As far as like the non-binary stuff, I try not to get into that because my views are very different than a lot of people. It's something that I really don't understand, and so I'm trying to get more knowledge before I'm able to speak on something that I really don't understand. So that's just my view on it.
Yeah, and some people don't. Some people don't agree with being non-binary, and a lot of trans women don't understand it and feel like non-binary people are taking up our space within the transgender umbrella. But to answer your question, um, who gives a damn about my personal opinion? Because anybody can say what they identify as, and if that's what you see yourself as, I can only call you what you would like to be called. But my personal opinion is that I don't feel that is real. I don't feel that is genuine. And I feel that this is an excuse to be feminine. This is an excuse to uh, do what your deepest desires are and like what you like. And I really feel that it's stemming from him being attracted to other men and being exploring himself sexually. And could he like women too? I feel like he probably do have attraction with women. I don't think necessarily that's sexual. I think he has an attraction to femininity. I think he likes feminine things. And a pretty girl like JT that is so hyper feminine, and she has a trans aesthetic. A lot of the cisgender women have a trans aesthetic. The boobs, the hips, the face, the FFSs that they're getting that we get. So I feel that that relationship, he's attracted to the broad spectrum of what femininity is, and he wants to be a part of that. But I don't think he's sexually attracted to women per se. I think he's attracted to the femininity of that.
So we're moving into more about his sexuality and away from like his gender.
His gender,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I said I didn't believe that. I think non-binary is a safe word to be feminine, but I really think that his gender expression is queer.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily non-binary. I think he's a queer guy, and I think he probably likes what he likes, but I think he's attracted to femininity and whatever that means. So that's what I think with that. And lastly, with the NLE chopper, I feel like, he said that people can't, why is it that gay men can be happy, when they express happiness, there's an issue, you know. And I also feel that, you know, with that, it correlates and it's really just like it boils down to like it's a stigma around it, but when it comes down to intersectionality and when it comes down to patriarchy and all those things, men created those rules for us, you know. So those are the rules that men that are the higher ups have created. So there is a gender form for everything and a prototype for how men are supposed to be and how women supposed to be. And when it comes down to the Black community, it's definitely 10 times more. So, with that being said, you know, lastly, I want to touch the Texas governor proposed a non-gender conforming ban on teachers in public schools, and very quickly. I think that's ridiculous. You know, I think that no matter what your gender expression is, um, you know, you should be able to teach. Are you qualified for the job? Is my thing. But also, I feel that we want to be tasteful in our expression, especially in front of children, you know. So there's a time and a place to be loud and in front of, you know what I'm saying? Some things can be toned because of the environment, you know, not saying that you can't be yourself. You can still be yourself, but some things we can't not help. If we can help some things, I can understand. But if there's some things that we can't help, like you just being a trans teacher and you're dressing like this, you know, people still may have a problem with that. So I feel like you should be able to be yourself and be able to teach. And as long as you're qualified for the job, I think there's no problems.
I read something, and more specifically, I don't even think it was just like gender nonconforming teachers. He said teachers who exhibit gender nonconforming behavior. So it's like I have a lot of questions like what exactly conforms me to a specific gender? Like I am who I am. You know, I'm sitting here, we're women. You two beautiful ladies have on dresses, and I'm here with a Rosa Parks t-shirt and some slacks and some pandas.
How would they know?
What?
How would they know?
What is like? What exactly does it mean to not conform to a gender? Like, who gets to dictate that? And you know, my behaviors are mine. They're specifically and unique to me. So you don't get to tell me what behaviors to exhibit, and tell me that my livelihood is on the line because I don't act the way that you think that I should act, or I don't wear dresses and I prefer to wear pants. Like, what is you don't get to dictate that for people. I just think it's a blanket type of situation just to get people to conform to everything. Like nobody is allowed to be individualistic. No one is allowed to have their own opinions. Nobody is allowed to express themselves the way that they would like to. Just be a blank slate and let us do what we want to do with you. And I just that's a very scary ideology to me.
And it really is. Tiana, what you think about that?
Well, I always tell people to just be yourself, but be in order. You can still be who you are. Yeah, you can still be who you are. Just be.
That's good.
You just don't want to. It's children. You don't want to confuse. We're not saying don't be yourself, but
in moderation.
Yeah, in moderation.
And use discretion.
Yeah, you don't want to, as they say, push the agenda. Mm-hmm. Like let it. I don't know. It's
very a gray area because you can actually be yourself and just be like this, and it's still a problem.
Yeah, or you can have like her and be a beautiful, elegant woman in pants. Like it doesn't.
And then you have the men that look like men that showcase themselves as men, but express themselves femininely,
Right.
and they wear heels and they wear blouses. They're cross dressers. So then that conflates with who's really transgender and what transgender mean,
Right.
what's cross dressing, what's gender expression, what's queer, and it really opens that can of worms, and that's what I think that's something that needs to be talked about, and we need to come into an understanding about that. So, but that's that. I think we had a great show. We talked about some good topics. Did anybody want to leave off with anything?
This was fun.
This definitely was. And did you want to leave the audience with me? No. Well, we're signing off. This is SOE Transparent Talk Show, and you make sure you stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you. Bye.